All right, we will open the FinCom meeting at 7:01 p.m. on May 27th, 2025. A few things on the agenda. The first thing we will cover is the review and approve previous meeting minutes from May 2nd. This was the quick meeting we had just before the town meeting in order to vote our recommendation on Article 24. So can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of May 2nd, 2025 as Billy distributed over email to the committee?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion we need to go over? Hopefully people got a chance to review. Any questions or updates? All right, all those in favor? Because we do have a remote participant, we have to do roll call. So all those in favor?
Hodgins, aye.
Girl, aye.
Haddad, aye.
Traeger, aye. Any minutes are approved? All right, so another item, discuss and vote on year-end transfers. So I'm going to kick things over to Jeremy so he can walk us through the details of the required year-end transfers.
Great, thank you. I am going to share my window and then zoom in so it makes read a little bit better. All right, so can everyone see this? And everyone got this beforehand?
Did you send this out beforehand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, on Thursday, I think.
Last week.
Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so clearly I did not see it beforehand, but that's fine.
No worries. We'll walk through here. So as you're all aware, to do year-end transfers after May 1st, typically from the FinCom reserve line, we come and this board votes on it, or the select board votes on it, and this committee votes on it as well. So I'm just going to walk through these and take any questions from you all. So the first one, emergency management, salaries and wages. So this is not from the FinCom reserve. There is $28,000 left in the reserve for negotiation in the select board account. So once we kind of came to that, the select board asked me to negotiate contracts, individual side letters with director and deputy director. And then this was included in the fiscal 26 budget. So in 26, this is fully funded at the $25,000 for the deputy director and the director. So this is not from FinCom reserve, but it's still a line item transfer and still requires a vote from this committee.
So this is a transfer of unused funds into where?
Sorry, that second line, into salaries and wages for emergency management. So 291 is emergency management. So it's a transfer from the select board reserve for negotiation into a negotiated stipend line.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And then the rest of these, I'm going to make my window bigger on my end. Sorry. The rest of these do come from FinCom transfers. So this running balance over here is the running balance of the FinCom reserve line. So it started off at 61.3, so we didn't touch it on the first line. So really it starts coming in here. So street lighting, we have what's called a master account with National Grid, and all of the accounts are associated with that, and they would send us one invoice, and it was like 150 pages long. I don't know what triggered this, but in August, those accounts got disaggregated, and we no longer were receiving the one big invoice. And August was the first month where Katie, our executive assistant, was responsible for the National Grid lights. So I think her being added to the account or something got triggered. So we hadn't seen the street lighting accounts actually come in. We never saw a street lighting bill. Those bills never made it to us. So we just went back and unwound all of them, and we think we're going to be a little bit behind by the time the year ends. So that wasn't known ahead of time because I didn't see those monthly bills. So just an update on that, though, we are going to go LEDs in this calendar year. The town will receive a $7,000 to $8,000 incentive payment for doing so. It costs us nothing, and National Grid will do all the upgrades, and they will continue to own and maintain the poles, and it will save us roughly $10,000 a year in electricity costs.
That's great.
So yeah, it was a no-brainer to sign on to that one.
So we just have to agree to let them do that?
Yeah, exactly. So we pay a supply rate that within that, or no, the supply rate's different. We pay like a delivery rate that for National Grid that includes, essentially a markup for their maintenance and installation stuff. Well, we could buy the lights if we wanted to, and we could own and maintain them. I don't want to be responsible for ownership and maintenance of streetlights. I think they do a fine job, and if we can save 10 grand in the process, I'm happy to let that one as it goes, or stay on as it is.
Yeah, I know nothing is free, so I want to know where is the money actually coming? Technically, this is coming from.
It's coming from your bill, actually.
Well, it's
I'm serious. We all pay for it.
Yeah.
We all pay for it in our bills.
yeah. Okay.
But then because they use less energy, right? Then National Grid's incentivized because it lowers their demand, and they can control the grid a little bit better. But they use less energy, so then our marginal costs are down as well. So we hopefully won't need this transfer next year.
Yeah. Okay. So this is hopefully we are cleaning up all of these little things where we had so many people in transition that things fell through the cracks. So.
Yeah, we did a number of those in this budget process, but now as I'm doing my first year-end close, there's a number that are now coming up. So it'll take 2 cycles to kind of shake it out, and until I feel like I have a handle on all the accounts. But yeah, we're moving in that direction.
Good.
Are there any other things like that the capital planning committee should take a look at? Because that's really, switching LEDs is such low hanging fruit. We could probably just make sure that nothing else has been missed like that.
Yeah, that probably wasn't captured on any of our stuff because we don't own the asset. So no one said, hey, this is something that has a.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So it was, it's not like, oh, our town building doesn't have LEDs. It was streetlights, which is totally different.
Yeah, specifically streetlights. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because we don't own them. Okay.
Yeah. The next one at $5,000 is water testing. So mid-year, within the fiscal year, DEP got a test result back that I don't know we got a test result back with DEP. I don't know the specifics of it. That required additional monitoring and testing on town-owned wells. And this wasn't this is public water supply. So this wasn't in our budget. And they run a pretty tight department to begin with. So there's not an additional $5,000 there. The hydrant fees, $1,000. Hopedale increased theirs. I think that increase comes out to be like just under $1,000, but I tried to keep everything around here. It all falls back into free cash at the end of the day anyway, if they don't spend the extra, $97 or whatever I put in here. Parks salary. So when we did, after special town meeting, after we did the appropriation and the transfer, I had to calculate, or before we did it, in order to know the basics of it, I had to calculate what each individual salary was that we needed to go in. And the way that contract read was folks get a step on their anniversary date. And I didn't factor that into Dan's. His step is July 1st. So it didn't look like a step to me. So he actually had an additional 2% in there, which is not $2,000, but included in that salary line item is also the seasonal maintenance worker that we have. And he stayed on a little bit later in October and started a little bit earlier in April than was initially intended. So that's only a few $100s, but it all kind of builds into this. And then also Dan Byer, Parks and Rec Director, his salary is split amongst 3 different departments, or 4 different if you count water being enterprise and general fund. And I just had his hours a little bit wrong. So all of those kind of fractional things on their own, we could have eaten it up and figured it out. But because they were all kind of together, we need an additional $2,000 there. This is the largest one, computer maintenance contracts. So in 155, so I guess I should take a step back up and talk about it. So that second column there where it says 1,000 dash something, that's our general ledger. They should all have 4 zeros at the end. I missed 2 of them, but that's our general ledger account string. So 1,000 means it's the general fund, and then the next 3 numbers is the department, and then the next or the object codes. So 155 is information technology. This is a computer maintenance contract. So OpenGov has, or sorry, Worldban has a monthly, service fee that we know and can plan and budget for. But then we get some additional stuff in there, some additional services, or buy additional licenses, and that I'm not sure how that was budgeted initially. But we also pay OpenGov out of here, which is our permitting software. And as far as I can tell, that wasn't budgeted here. We paid it through an encumbrance last time, so I'm not sure. That just means we were late on paying it. So I think we did a transfer at the end of the year into where we needed it at the end of fiscal 24. So OpenGov is our online permitting software. They sent us a renewal agreement for April to April. So I really dislike those dates. So I just paid it April through June. We short paid it because I don't want to pay fiscal 26 out of fiscal 25. That much of it. It was 50-50, who cares? But if it was 25-75, and I didn't like paying that out of 25. So we're paying 1/4 of that invoice out of fiscal 25. We'll pay the rest out of our fiscal 26 appropriation. They're really expensive for the services that we get. So I'm working with the building commissioner, and we're going to develop an RFP to go out sometime this fall to hopefully either not renew with OpenGov or renew with OpenGov at a much better rate this next upcoming April. And then I would like to get on an April to June license, and then July to June renewal, so we can stay on the fiscal year path. But that's kind of upcoming. But we're looking to be able to save some money there. But there's not enough in that right now. Equipment maintenance, also in 155 IT. We have some more projects, including our server cleanup room. We got a whole new rack. They did a bunch of wiring. They got some new equipment down there. But this line also includes things like, new monitors or new computers, or when we need new, speaker or new microphones in the room that you're in now, things like that. That all gets paid out of the equipment maintenance line. So we don't have a specific identified use for it at the beginning of the year. It's more small things as the year goes on.
Hey, Jeremy, back on the previous one, how much of so it says OpenGov partial payment and then Worldban services. Are we paying Worldban for the OpenGov payments? Or?
No, that should have been a semicolon there. Those are two distinct thoughts. Sorry, they both just get paid out of the same line. So there's an OpenGov partial payment, which is I think it's about $6,000. And then there is additional Worldban services. So they're paid out of the same object code, but they're distinct and separate.
So what are the Worldban services that were unbudgeted and unaccounted for that we needed to do this transfer?
The migration into our new SharePoint site required a lot of hours and required some licenses that weren't in our initial. There was a phone project which needed some new, I want to say SIP trunks. That was not in our basic services. And then, like I said, we added some premium licenses to see what some of the additional features are. And we have a small amount of licenses, and we're looking to expand more, but those were not initially budgeted in the Worldban services.
What was the purpose of us moving to the new SharePoint system?
Nothing's hosted locally anymore. It's now cloud-based. So we're not, it's a little bit of a security sort of thing where we're not beholden to just one physical place should something happen. It also allows remote access for staff a lot easier. We don't have to VPN into Town Hall. We now could just, I signed on to SharePoint to get this, to start this meeting. So it provides a lot of remote flexibility.
Yeah, okay.
And then the small ones down at the bottom, well, one's not small, but it's straightforward. The COA van, they have like $80 left in their fuel line for the year. So they might be able to get by on pinching other parts of their budget, but their supply budget's really tight. So in order to not, steal from other parts of their budget, if we add $400 to their fuel line to get through June for them. And then lastly, select board, there's a miscellaneous expense line. So the Trask Life Estate. So as folks are aware, there is the town was gifted a large tract of land at the corner of Mendon, Hopedale, Upton, 6, 8, and 9 Trask Road, but subject to a life estate for an individual, which means he has beneficial use of the property for as long as he lives, and then it becomes ours. And we could use it for recreation or education. We could build a school or put recreation fields there. Those are the two uses in the trust agreement. There is a very prescribed way to buy out someone's interest in a life estate, a remainder interest. It's a simple arithmetic problem, but getting the inputs takes a little bit of work. I have a proposal from an appraisal firm to do that work, and that would give the town a number, a ceiling to which we can pay for the piece of property. I've spoken with the life estate holder, and he's interested, obviously depending on what the number is. So once we get this transfer, I'll be able to sign the contract and get that appraisal, and see what the town's options are.
And the purpose of doing that is so that they can vacate the property and then we can do something with it, or?
Exactly. The gentleman's in his 50s. So conceivably, there could be 20 plus years easily without the town being able to access this property, which was gifted to us. So the select board wants to see what it would cost to accelerate that, beneficial use.
And Jeremy, Jack here, Jack Hodgins here, question. When you mention the other municipalities here, is there any contingency here where other municipalities would likewise have to participate in the life estate appraisal and buyout because it's the property touches on other municipalities?
No, I was just trying to describe where it was in Mendon. The property is wholly in Mendon.
Got it. Thank you. Okay.
Yep. It's 3 tracks.
Yep.
And it's also bordered by a track that was just donated to the town, a sliver of a track on 11 Trask Road.
Got it.
The trust, of course, the trust did leave money to Upton. It left money. It left a whole bunch of money to Upton and said you can use this for town beautification purposes. So they just got a chunk of money, and we get a land with a lot of strings attached. But yeah, so this doesn't obligate the town to move forward on anything. If they come back and say, if it's $1 million, then but if it's $40,000 and it accelerates it by 20 years, then it's worth discussing.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
So that's all of them, and then there remains $26,630. So there will be something. There will be. Did I close out of my window? There will be something that comes up at some point. I had asked staff to go through their telephone and internet bills and things like that, and that analysis didn't quite get done in time for this. So there might be something there, but I think these are all the big ones, and anything else departments can absorb within their budgets. Folks are pretty good about going into June with a balance, just so they don't have to come asking for transfers or additional money. No one likes to say, I didn't know about this expense in my department.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Except for light bills.
All right. Any questions or? All right. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the transfers out of FinCom as previously presented by Jeremy?
I'll make the motion.
Second, Jack.
All those in favor? Roll call vote.
Zamudo, aye.
Crowley.
Haddad, aye.
Hodgins, aye.
Aye.
Jack, can you just say that again?
Hodgins, aye.
Thanks. Krager, aye. All right, all those approved. Those are the items for the agenda. I guess not anticipated 48 hours in advance, given Jeremy's comment about some things still being open to save time. We've done this in the past. We can do a motion to have the committee approve me unilaterally signing for any any transfers if necessary, just to make things expedient, if required, if something else pops up.
I so move. Jack,
Second.
Do you think there should be a limit? I agree. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Some small stuff, but
Yeah, $1 million comes up. I know you don't want me, carte blanche to put my name on it, right?
So how we voted at select board, how they voted, I don't vote, was up to 26,630. So that's the amount that's left in FinCom reserves. So it wouldn't allow Mike to sign, $500,000 out of police salaries or something, right? It's restricted to the amount left in finance committee was the motion at select board.
So explain the mechanics, both us and the select board had to vote.
No, so the select board can vote a single representative to approve or not approve what we just went through. And in the past, it's been like, May 31st and we have to have a meeting, not everybody's available. And if we previously just said, okay, Mike can approve or disapprove the transfers, it's a representative vote of the whole committee.
I think last year actually had a meeting in July.
Oh, yeah, there was a meeting in July.
Mike was out of the country, and I was up on vacation in New Hampshire, and everybody, but Nick called it and got 4 of us. I think you got that one, and we did it all remotely, and it was a 7-minute meeting, but we had to, meet and yeah.
Ron, that was my 5th day on the job.
That's right. That's right. I do remember that.
I took that from the parking lot of a restaurant because that was a Friday night.
I was just gonna say it was a Friday. That's right.
Well, I was taking it from Bermuda, and that was gonna happen.
That's right. It was the day after the 4th of July. I was up in all day.
Yeah, because so you have to, the last day you could do transfers for prior fiscal years is July 15th. So this had been, the accountant did a lot of this last year, and it had been sitting in various inboxes during the transition, of course. And I started on July 8th. And then once I saw this, I was like, we gotta. So in order to avoid that, this meeting's in May. We try to get the big things, right? The $25,000, the $10,000, the $6,300, and then this vote would be for the cleanup items. If there was something that required money to be moved between departments outside of the use of FinCom reserves, I think it would be prudent to have an actual meeting and explain what the heck we're doing. But the use of the remainder of FinCom reserves for the marginal pieces, select board voted to allow the chair to approve those up to the $26,630 level.
So that's the short answer to Mike's question, is the cap is $26,000.
Right. Yeah. Like last year, I think we had one on that last year. This one was $15 or $12. There was something, seriously, it was like a $12 or $15 item out of the.
Would you rather a lower cap? Would you rather a lower cap than 26?
What was that?
Would you rather a lower cap than 26, or
No, that sounds,
you're good?
that sounds reasonable.
Okay.
Okay, so the stipulations around the motion are to approve me to make the approve or disapprove for transfers out of FinCom reserves up to the maximum of 26,630.
So the balance.
The remaining balance.
Remaining balance.
Yeah.
I think there was already a second. So Zamudo, you want to call it? Sorry, I want to jump the gun.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Zamudo, aye.
Carl, I.
How did I?
Mendelia, aye.
Hodgins, aye.
Gregor, aye. I vote on
Doesn't matter if you're against it anyways.
That's true.
Yeah, too bad.
You're already rolling. Okay, awesome. Any other topics that want to be brought up that weren't anticipated 48 hours in advance?
I'd just like to make a quick announcement for you all. So the select board on Wednesday voted that all committee terms that expire this June 30th are going to be posted as vacancies. So we invite the incumbents to write a letter to me, Katie, select board, whatever, get it over to us to say, I'm interested in being reappointed, but the select board did not want to make it be just kind of an automatic, if you're there, you get reappointed sort of thing. They wanted you to make the positive affirmation to say, yes, I still want to be there, and give the opportunity to other folks if that was appropriate. So on this committee, John, you and Nick Ciantra are up this June 30th. So if you're interested in being reappointed, or if any of you are on other committees where your term expires on 6/30, shoot me a quick note that says, yes, in the affirmative, I'm interested in being reappointed.
Great,
Sure.
thank you.
Billy, do you mind reaching out to Nick and just make sure he's aware of that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, when are those due by?
We're going to send letters out, likely next week to the folks so they know. We just posted the vacancies and we have to have them up for 45 days. So it's going to bleed into July anyway. But as soon as you can reasonably get them over, I think June 13th is the deadline that I have in my draft letter right now. But as soon as you know if you want to be reappointed or not, and if you don't want to be reappointed, just say so, and we'll take candidates from elsewhere without your consideration.
So this will be moving forward. We'll all have to, like next year at this time.
Yep.
whichever. Okay.
And it's not specific to FinCom. It's townwide. Every board and every committee.
And send the email to who? To the clerk or no?
You can send it to me. You can send it to select board. You can send it to BOS admin. Just get it over to us. It's not Send me a note. It's fine.
You said you're sending a hard letter out to the.
It will
people
likely
that-
be.
So I would assume that all the information will be in that letter.
Yep. I just had. This is the first committee meeting I've had since the select board voted it on Wednesday, and there's at least one member here whose term's expiring, so I wanted to say it while I was here.
Yeah, no, that's a good heads up instead of it just popping up out of nowhere if we didn't see the slide. So,
Are they actually posted, the vacancies at this point, or they will be posted?
I asked for them to be posted today, so let's see. They're not up yet, so they should be up shortly. I know Katie was working on it today.
okay.
That's all for me.
Great, thanks, Jeremy. All right, any other topics not anticipated 48 hours in advance?
So then when do we reconvene typically?
So we will see how the process goes. And if we have new members, then we will reconvene at some point and we can talk about reorganization. I do like to try to do a sort of recap on the budget season, just talk about pros and cons and what we should do, improve moving forward. Things that we want to work on with the select board. Tom Morali has also reached out and wants to talk about bylaw changes around FinCom's role within town operations. So, I've given him my personal opinion on what that looks like and after discussions with everybody here over the years. But we'll get more formal with what that looks like soon. So those will be the next types of things we want to address.
I should alert you to a hopeful schedule change. So previously we had talked about capital as being part of the budget process. The capital planning process is part of the budget process, but that leaves us finalizing stuff in the spring when we likely don't have free cash, or that means we get free cash certified in the fall and we sit on it for 9 months, 6 months, whatever, before being able to put that to work. So what the capital planning committee is aiming for, and that's our schedule right now. Your own Jesse Curl is part of that. Is to move the calendar to more of a summer calendar, a July, August, September capital dive and prioritization, so we can have proposals ready to include in the special town meeting warrant in the fall. So we'll likely have a capital planning, select board, FinCom joint sort of thing to go over capital in advance of the special town meeting warrant.
Great.
Anybody want to join?
Well,
There's
we
still
have
there's two openings.
and,
We have 2 vacantt seats on the
oh, okay.
capital planning committee if anybody wants to do it.
Shuffle the ones that there's FinCom ones over to that one.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Going once, going twice. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the FinCom meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Zamudo, aye.
Early.
And I.
Mendelia, aye.
Hodgins, aye.
Gregor, aye. We are adjourned at 7:30 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Good night.
Don't forget to sign the actual document, Mike?
Yep, I will go grab it right now. Thanks for reminding me. I'm gonna walk right out of here.
Thank you. And then you can just put it right back in the select board mailbox. We'll pick it up tomorrow.
All right, we'll do. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, good night, everyone.